Do aliens exist in our universe? This question troubles everyone. It is one of humanity's deepest questions, and perhaps the greatest of all. The answer to this question is, in itself, the most difficult. Despite this, it is still important to ask this question. Because if we ever make contact with aliens, it could be the most significant event in human history later even than the invention of the wheel or the discovery of fire. But it is possible that this has already happened, and I am not talking about Area 51 or any conspiracy theory. What I mean is that it's possible we have already received a clear message from aliens among the stars. This is the story of the WOW signal, which could perhaps be called humanity's first contact with aliens. Hello friends, I am Shamtomar. I welcome you to this video. On the 15th of August 1977, an astronomer named Jerry Ehman was sitting in his kitchen looking at a large stack of papers filled with seemingly meaningless numbers and letters. These numbers were nothing but cosmic codes. As a research scientist, Jerry Ehman had no trouble recognizing these cosmic codes. The data in Jerry's hands had come from one of the world's most powerful radio telescopes, the Big Ear. This was a famous radio telescope. This telescope was especially known for SETI, that is, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence project, whose aim was to search for signs of life beyond Earth in the universe. It was a massive parabolic antenna, almost 100 meters long. Its size was enormous, which helped it capture radio signals from the universe. The purpose of Big Ear was to collect radio signals coming from deep space, and this was the very information Jerry had in his hands. Each column represented a different frequency channel, and the numbers and letters in these columns indicated the strength of the radio signals received at that frequency. Smaller numbers represented weaker signals, while larger numbers indicated stronger signals. The width of these columns was just enough for a single character. That's why any signal above 9 was represented by a letter. For example, A meant 10, B meant 11, C meant 12, and so on. Jerry had examined thousands of such pages before, but among those thousands he hadn't found anything interesting. But this time his eyes fell on a signal he had never seen before. 6E. The reason UJ5 was so shocking was that Jerry, surprised, circled this signal with a red pen and wrote WOW on the side. Since then, this signal has been known as the WOW signal. There were some special things about the WOW signal that make it unique. First of all, this signal was 30 times stronger than the radio noise coming from the universe. It was detected in only one of Big Ear's 50 channels, which meant it was a narrowband signal that was heard for 72 seconds. Such signals generally do not come from natural sources, but rather from technological devices. As soon as Jerry Ehman saw this signal, he realized that this could possibly be humanity's first contact with aliens. But as Carl Sagan had said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. First of all, the SETI team had to make sure that the WOW signal was indeed something extraordinary. Finding radio signals in the universe is very difficult because radio waves are everywhere in the cosmos. Cosmic sources like stars, black holes, and quasars constantly emit radio waves, and on Earth, devices like TVs and telephones also use radio waves, which increases the noise. If the WOW signal was to be taken seriously, it was essential to prove that it did not come from other sources, but was actually sent by an advanced alien civilization. First, galactic radio noise was ruled out because the WOW signal was much stronger, while the noise present in the universe is extremely weak. Natural phenomena like stars and quasars were also ruled out because these radio waves spread across a wide band of frequencies, not in a narrow band. The WOW signal was a narrow band signal which could only be transmitted in the universe by an intelligent civilization. And when the Big Ear searched for the same signal again in the same direction the next day, that mysterious signal had disappeared. If the WOW signal had come from a star, quasar, or black hole, then that signal should have been heard again in the same direction for several days afterwards. But that signal was never heard again. Eventually, interference coming from Earth was also ruled out. Interference from Earth usually sends out random pulses, which are not like the WOW signal. This signal was technical and was coming from space itself. So does this mean it was a message from aliens? Not necessarily. In fact, the first thing scientists had to ensure was that this signal wasn't coming from one of our own satellites. At that time, there were fewer than 300 satellites in orbit at the time, and none of them were in a position to send a signal to the Big Ear telescope at that moment. Moreover, the data from Big Ear showed that the source of the WOW signal was stationary compared to the stars. This meant that whoever sent it had deliberately transmitted it towards us using some powerful device. The WOW signal was even more special because its strength and pattern were unusual. It was at a specific frequency of 1420 MHz known as the hydrogen line. This is the frequency at which hydrogen atoms naturally emit radio waves. Hydrogen is the most common element in the universe and its radio waves can be heard everywhere. If we set our telescopes to this frequency, we can gather a lot of information about the universe. Simply put, hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe. So if there is any advanced alien civilization in the universe, it would want to communicate with other extraterrestrial civilizations using the hydrogen line. 1420 MHz is the most important radio frequency that any young civilization should listen to in order to understand the universe. If we are listening to it, then perhaps everyone else is listening to it too. If any alien wants to make contact, they will broadcast on this frequency, and that is why 1420 MHz is an internationally protected frequency which can only be used for scientific research. This means that whether it's satellites orbiting the Earth or large antennas on the ground, all are prohibited from using the 1420 MHz frequency. This frequency is reserved solely for understanding the universe and for making contact with other civilizations. Now a question arises here: if the WOW signal was so special, then why isn't it considered the greatest discovery in science? The answer is that since 1977, it has never been detected again. We have used much larger and better telescopes, but it's been over 50 years and we found nothing. Until we confirm this signal, there will always be doubt about it. Even after 50 years, the WOW signal remains a mystery. In 2017, an astronomer claimed that it was related to some comets, but this theory was soon dismissed by other astronomers. Recently, as we continue to study our galaxy, astronomers are also trying to identify the source of the WOW signal. In the year 2020, Spanish astronomer Alberto identified 66 stars in the Sagittarius constellation, identified as a possible source of the WOW signal. These stars are being searched for the possibility of life. Whether we will find any advanced civilization around any of them, wondering why we are taking so long to respond to their message, only time will tell. The WOW signal firmly established the idea in the public mind that life could exist somewhere in the universe. Will we ever be able to unravel the mystery of this signal? Was it really a message from an extraterrestrial civilization, or was it just another unknown aspect of the universe? Our technology is advancing rapidly, but the question still remains: will we ever be able to make contact with aliens? It's possible that aliens are so different from us that we might not even be able to recognize them. Perhaps they are based on a form of energy that is completely beyond our understanding, or maybe they are deliberately ignoring us because we have not yet reached their level. You must have heard the name of the great physicist Enrico Fermi in connection with the Fermi paradox. In 1950, Fermi asked, if the universe is so vast, then where is everybody else in the universe? Our universe spans 93 billion light years. There are more than 2 trillion galaxies in it, and each galaxy contains billions of stars. So why don't we encounter aliens in such a vast universe? This very question is known as the Fermi paradox. In the year 1961, an astronomer named Frank Drake proposed an equation which is known as the Drake equation. This equation attempts to estimate how many technologically advanced civilizations might exist in our galaxy. But this equation contains many unknown variables, so it's difficult to arrive at a definitive answer. Some scientists have explained, through the Great Filter theory, why we have not yet encountered aliens. In fact, the Great Filter theory attempts to explain the rarity of life in the universe and the mystery of the Fermi paradox. This theory tries to explain that if the universe is so vast and there are so many possibilities for life, then why have we not yet discovered any advanced extraterrestrial civilization? In the development of any civilization, the Great Filter is a kind of barrier that prevents the evolution or existence of a civilization, and this barrier can occur at any stage such as before microscopic life transforms into an advanced civilization, before advanced civilizations destroy themselves, or before they reveal their presence in the universe. To put it simply, the more advanced a civilization becomes, the more quickly it tends to destroy itself. This is called the Great Filter. If we talk about ourselves, we humans are very close to the Great Filter. We have advanced so much in the field of science that we have even created weapons of mass destruction. The day a third world war happens and these destructive weapons are used, that day we will destroy our own civilization by our own hands. According to the Great Filter theory, the downfall of any civilization happens either naturally or by its own doing, which is why their civilization does not become advanced enough to make contact with another extraterrestrial civilization. For example, in the year 1974, we sent a message to aliens which will take 21,000 years to reach a star that is 21,000 light years away. But will our civilization be able to survive for that many years? This universe is so vast that perhaps we may never be able to reach the aliens. Trying to uncover the mysteries of the universe teaches us just how limited our knowledge still is. Perhaps discovering life in the universe is one of the biggest questions of our existence. Are we alone in this universe? This question is not just about science, but also about our very existence. Until we find an answer, this search will continue. Friends, what do you think? Are there aliens in the universe, and will we ever be able to make contact with them? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like this video because your like motivates me to make more videos like this.